for you. Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 1 of the podcast I'm making for my final major project for my college work. So there's going to be 3 separate episodes, and each of them episodes are going to have a main topic and 4 subtopics. So in episode 1 today, we have the requirements of the project. There's going to be 4 different subsections of what I'm going to need as the requirements for this project. Yeah, let's get straight into this. So the first subcategory is what equipment I'm going to need for this project. So such as instruments, software, things like that. So starting off with software, I'm going to need a DAW, a digital audio workstation, specifically Logic, because that's the one I use the most and I feel most comfortable using and I know the most. And yeah, there are others such as Ableton, FL Studios, things like that. But this project, if you didn't know already, I'm making an album made up of 6, 7 or 8 songs. So if I use Logic, I know how to use that the most, so it's going to come out the best quality possible. Other things such as instruments, not as such instruments, I'm going to be using MIDIs specifically, such as MIDI keyboards and MIDI drum pads, as it will save a lot of time me inserting them manually than just so this way I can just digitally put them all in instead of inserting them manually. It saved me a lot of time and it'd be more accurate as well, so I can put them exactly where I want them instead of moving them about and it taking absolutely ages. Obviously I'm going to be in a studio while recording. I'm going to put my own vocals on them, so I'm going to need a microphone to record my vocals onto it. I'm going to need speakers so I can hear it more clearly. I can see if anything's wrong with it. And obviously, as I said, I'm recording my own vocals, so I'm going to need an interface, probably a Scarlett Solo. Studio's going to be soundproofed anyway, so the best quality is going to come out of it. Computer, keyboard, mouse, you know all the basics, but I'd have to say it because that's all the equipment I need. But yes, that's pretty much all I need. Instruments, like actual instruments. In one of my songs on the album, I'm going to be recording myself a little guitar bit to add into it myself manually. So that's the only thing I can think of right now. Obviously, I haven't done the album yet, but when I do it, and if I think of anything else on the day, then that would be cool. But I already know at the moment I'm going to be adding a guitar on one of the songs. So yeah, let's go into the next bit. Okay, so the next subsection is what are the technical skills I'm going to need required for this. So this includes things like mixing and mastering, playing instruments, stage management. That doesn't count for us, but I'm going to go straight into mixing and mastering. Obviously, if you've listened to my music before, it sounds good, but what you don't know is about me specifically. I am not great at mixing and mastering. I am working on it. I'm watching tutorials, things like that. However, I am not great at mixing and mastering. So for the album, obviously, as there's going to be all them songs on there, and I actually want to get somewhere with this album as I'm releasing it onto all the relevant streaming platforms via DistroKid. So it releases onto Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. As it's going to be released to the world, basically, and I'm going to be using it in a portfolio to give to universities, possibly. Yeah, I want it to be sounding the best quality as possible, meaning I'm going to have to mix and master it really well. So I am learning how to mix master properly. So like how-tos on YouTube, I can add into my research later on. But yeah, I am working on it. And if I do get stuck, I can always ask someone to help me with it, as that can count as a collaboration sort of thing. But I'll get onto that later. What else? There was playing instruments, as I said earlier, as well with the guitar. However, I can only play 2 instruments, which is piano and a tiny bit of drums, not much. Guitar, I literally made that riff up myself. Like as I went along, I sort of improvised. But piano is the only thing I play professionally. Drums, I can just mess about on there a little bit. So if I did want any other instruments within my tracks, I would need someone else to collaborate with me to help record, or I can just make it up as I go along. But that probably won't sound as good. So I could always use what I know and add some piano into it myself, or maybe add a drum loop into it, which I record myself. That'll probably be the best way to sort of do it. But overall, that's sort of the technical skills I'm going to need. So we'll move on to the next bit. Now all the technical skills are done out the way, we're going to move on to human skills. So like human resources needed, such as performers, producers, technicians, all things like that. So performers, I won't need any. So producers, this could be used as a collaboration sort of thing. As I could get someone to help me produce a track. So he could be a producer, I could record my vocals, we can go split 50-50, so we could put both of our minds to it sort of thing, and help produce like a really good track. As doing this can obviously help me probably get a better grade. Maybe like I have someone else I know I can collaborate with. Talking of collaboration, I could use I get someone to collaborate on an actual song with me doing vocals. I can have someone do a verse for me, have someone do a chorus for me, or I could do the verse, they could do the chorus, or vice versa. Like the possibilities are endless in reality, because this album could go many, many ways. So yeah, things like technicians as sound engineers and all that, where they can help me create the song, as I mentioned earlier, with collaborators, producers, things like that. Yeah, all of them things can help me. Mainly, it's the same as the technical skills, really, but human resources, they can help me a bit more, as collaboration is needed within the FMP. So I'm going to need a collaborator, which I already have someone in mind, which is good. So they can collaborate with me and help the song sound a lot better, so that I can get a better grade and get this album quite big, as I do want to go down that path. So overall, this should go very well. So, very last but not least, the final subsection of this episode are the sort of logistical needs I'm going to need. So, for example, transport, venues such as studios, things like that. So, transport to get to like the studio and all that, it's not that bad, like just bus and train and that. I have to explain it, is what I have to do. But the studios, if I can't use the college studio one day, for example, if I'm not in college or if it's a weekend, I go to an external studio called Star City Studios. I know them very well in there. I go there all the time, to which I've produced tracks in there before, where I've released, and they've sounded amazing. But overall, I know sort of what plans I'm going to be doing. I know pretty well what I do want to get with this, where I want to go with it. So this makes it much easier for me to sort of do than it did for my last FMP, as now I've got experience within everything. I know what I want to do, and I know where I want to go with it. So thank you for joining me in this episode today. I hope I'll see you in the next episode, where hopefully next episode we're going to have a co-host joining us, and it'll be a bit longer, as I'll have much more stuff to go through. But unfortunately now this episode has come to an end. I hope you've enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next episode. Thank you very much again, and goodbye.